You can't win the day if you don't win the morning. Today I'm going to share with you 7 things that if you'll do these before 8 a.m., it'll change your life and your business forever. You know, how we start our day in the mornings is really what sets the tone for not only the rest of the day, but for our career as a whole. So what I want to do today is I want to break down some things that we can do before 8 a.m. Really give us that opportunity to do some things before most people even get moving around that can change our business and our life forever. So I'm going to start with this. The first thing is to start with gratitude. Now, this is a practice that I learned back when I was struggling. I was going through some things and I would wake up with this worry in my gut. And what I found is that what I focused on, I would see more of. So what I wanted to do was switch that up, and I wanted to begin to go through and talk about some of the things and think about some of the things that I was thankful for. And then I'm going to give you something practical in just a second that you can do each morning. The first thing I did was, and I still try to do it to this day, is that when my first foot hits the floor coming out of the bed, I say thank. And then my next foot, I say you. Thank you. And I try to walk that out each morning, start my day thinking about the things I'm thankful for. In my head, I think of the people I'm thankful for. I think of the opportunities I'm thankful for. I think of the things that I get to do that day that I'm thankful for. Thankful for my health, whatever it is, my family, those things. But then on the practical side, what can you do to make sure that you do this before 8 a.m.? First, I'll start with the mindset of it, but practically, what can you do? I would encourage you before 8 a.m., 1 to 2 thank you notes, write 1 to 2 thank you notes every single day. By taking the time to think about someone that you're thankful for, and not just think about them, but proactively take action. It puts into motion a little bit of something that really begins to develop the rest of your day. When I focus and I start my day thinking about the things I'm thankful for, I see more things to be thankful for the rest of the day. It calms me down and gives me the ability to have a positive outlook for the rest of the day, no matter what this world throws at me. The second thing you can do to really start your day off right is to simply be quiet. Now listen, everybody does this differently. For me, it's prayer. Some people it's meditation. Some people it's just sitting and thinking. Whatever it is that you can do, be still and think about what your day looks like. Dr. Paul Hochmeyer, who is really a marriage, family, and also an addictions counselor, says it this way. He says that what prayer and meditation does is it gives you the ability to begin to slow your mind down and to become less reactive throughout the rest of the day when you start your day this way. So think of it this way. What it does is it gives you the ability to not focus on the situation you're in, but to focus on where you're headed, the positivity or the future of what it can look like. I've heard prayer mentioned this way, and meditation is very similar, is that it is a focusing on what we have concern for. It's also coming in and saying what we're hoping for, and then it's also coming from and thinking about who we want help from. So what is it that you're thinking about? Because again, we just talked about in the first one that what we focus on, we typically see more of that and we see it get better. So what is it that you're focusing on? Prayer, meditation, what it does is it slows you down. It gives you the ability to get outside of yourself, think about some other people, think about what the future holds, and it really sets the tone for your day in a place where you're calm and you're ready to really take on whatever the world throws at you. All right, those first couple were mindset. I'm going to talk a little more practical now, and we're going to talk about sharing something. What is it that you can share with someone? Now, I'm going to talk specifically in your real estate business. One of the things that I found is that if I would take 1 to 2 of those buyers that are out there that were looking for something in particular, I would look at the hot sheet. I would try to find something in particular that I would send to them. I would send, hey, I saw this property, immediately thought of you. Not sure if it'll fit, but want to make sure you saw this. Now, what it does is by doing this earlier in the morning, it shows that you're starting your day thinking about them. It's showing priority to those folks. I don't know about you, but when someone gives me priority or shows priority that I'm a priority to them, I typically make them a priority as well. So by starting your day, by finding specifically a property that might fit for someone, or maybe you have someone that's getting ready to sell their home and you find something that went under contract or that's sold that you share with them and say, hey, not exactly like your place, but this recently sold. If you're curious, let me know and I'll be glad to talk to you about how this will affect your value. You see, by starting your day, by helping someone, by sharing something, all of a sudden now you've set the table for conversations that will happen the rest of the day in a positive way. Make it a priority to share something or to be of value to someone early in the day, and the rest of the day will take care of itself. Next up is learn something. What is it that you can do to become better at what you do? Whoever that is you're trying to become, whether it's in your business, whether it's in relationships, whether it's whatever part of your life that you're trying to become better at, learn something each morning before 8 a.m. a.m. For me, I've done this in a number of different ways. I've done this where I'll think about things, or I'll listen to a podcast, or I'll watch a video, or I'll read a book that I'm reading. Whatever it is for you, when you start your day by learning, everything else begins to start moving in that direction. Now, your mind is activated. It's in a learning mode. It's looking for opportunity to learn new things. And by learning new things, you have the ability to fill your bucket up, so to speak, so that you have the ability, out of the overflow of all the things you're pouring into yourself, to add value to other people. Start by learning something every single day. It'll make a huge difference. Next up is plan something. Start your day by planning what the day is going to look like, or what your future looks like. This is when I like to look back at my goals. I like to look at my daily calendar to see who it is that I'm meeting with that day. I like to think about who is it that I should reach out to that day. I'm making a list of those things. This is when typically I start a to-do list the night before with a few things that I know I need the next day. But this is the time when I begin to line out exactly who it is that I need to call, the things I need to do, and I'm planning my day. When we fail to plan, we plan to fail. So what is it that you're doing to make sure that everything you're doing in the morning before 8 a.m., where when you get to that office or you get in that mode where you're going to start your day, work day specifically, that you've got a plan of action and something that you can look to keep you on track the rest of the day. Next up is to break a sweat. Now listen, what we're talking about here is physical activity. And it doesn't just give us the ability to break a sweat so that we're physically ready for the day, because it will absolutely do that. You know, all the studies show us that when we're active in the mornings, it gives us more ability to have more energy throughout the day. But what it does also is it activates. When you break a sweat, the science of this is that what happens is it drops those dopamines, all of those things that those happy feelings which get us moving in the right direction. Being physical is absolutely the key to everything. If we don't have our health, we don't have anything. When you're feeling better, you do better. When you're doing better, you serve better. When you serve better, absolutely everything else in your business and in your life gets better. Last but not least, be accountable to someone. Who is it that you answer to? Who is it that, as I've said in the past, that I learned knows you, K-N-O-Ws you, well enough to know you, N-O-U? Who is it that you're sharing what you have on schedule for that day? Who is it that you talk about what your goals are? Who is it that tells you and you talk about your day previous that either lifts you up or pushes you a little bit to do better? For me, I found having that accountability, that person that I'm talking to on a daily basis that understands and knows when I'm doing well and will push me to do better, or that person that knows that when I'm dragging a little bit, they'll know when to back off or to push me to get back into the game, so to speak. I've had someone in my life that I've been talking to every single day for the last 700 days. And what he and I talk about a lot of times is not just what's going on in our day, it's what's going on in our life. And as we share those things, as we talk about and we share it, I say, hey, what have you got coming today? And he lays that out and he's talking about it out loud. He knows that I've got an accountability, because the next day I'm going to check in and say, hey, how did that go when you did this? Or later that afternoon. You see, when you have accountability, you absolutely have the ability to perform at a higher level. It keeps you focused on the things that are most important. If you don't have someone that you're accountable for, if you just begin to look for that person, I'll promise you they're close by. Who is it that you can have in your life that can hold you accountable, can push you a little bit to be more of who you're created to be? Who is it that you have that will get you back in line? When you get that person in place, everything else begins to move in a much more positive direction. I love the morning because it is the beginning of something new. When we win the morning, everything else begins to move in a direction that we want it to move in. So what is it that you're going to do to make sure that you're learning more than you've ever been? What is it that you're going to do to focus in on being thankful more than you've ever been thankful? What is it you're going to do to put that layer of accountability in so that you know you're going to perform at the highest level? When you do these things, the momentum you build will be palpable. People around you will feel the energy that you have that's at a higher level. They'll see the production that begins to change, and every area of your life will be better. I hope this has been helpful, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. I specifically chose the video below for you because it builds on the one you just watched. I hope it's helpful, and I'll talk to you soon.